So today I will introduce to you introduction, which is general introduction about demand and supply. So demand and supply are the most fundamental concepts in economics. These basic concepts of supply and demand are integrated into daily actions of people from all walks of life. So in this chapter, types of goods in the both conventional and Islamic perspective will be introduced. Next, we will discuss the basic of demand and supply and changes in quantity demanded and quantity supply. So next, this chapter will also explain some of the determinants of demand and supply and the violation of the law of demand and supply. Demand goods and services in an economy to satisfy all their desires. Demand from economy. Demand is different from desire, wish, want, and like. Demand refers to an effective demand. A consumer who wants or desires to have a product, service must have ability to buy and willingness to pay for the goods and service. Demand is defined as the different quantities of goods or services which buyers are willing and able to buy at different possible prices at a specific period. Other than that, supply is defined as the producer ability and willingness to supply different quantities of goods and services at a different possible price and time range. So next, we will move into a summary of the economics issue of exceptional demand cases in primary news or primary sector. So demand has not gone down despite rising price, particularly in the food and non-alcoholic beverage category, which is main driver of the consumer price index, or we call it as CPI for short form. Therefore, the CPI is an indicator of change in the cost of purchasing certain goods and services. The Statistics Department revealed that the inflation rate for last month has remained at 4%. Of the inflationary pressure in the market and the spike in the price of goods was driven by the expansion in fiscal politics taken by the government over the last years. So now the current inflation was due to an excessive amount of money in the market following the implementation of relief package to the tune of RM 305 billion in 2020 and RM 225 billion over the last year. While private consumption rose by 1.9%, government consumption grew by 6.6% in 2021. The impact monetary expansion could not be fully seen in CPI behavior due to deflationary pressures. So Malaysians have been struggling to keep pace with the increase in price attributed, especially for the secondary sectors, because they can come out their product because the economics at that time. So during the COVID-19 outbreak, the agricultural sector, known as the raw material sector, experienced a labor shortage. Hence, most of rice production in Malaysia will be affected by a 1 meter rise in the sea level.
I will talk about the possibility factor cause of exceptional demand in primary article. First, current percentage of inflation in Malaysia. For your information, the government can impose new law of tariff that make it more expensive for companies to produce goods or import them. Second, high demand of meat such as beef and chicken. This is because people around the world are eating more meat, especially beef and chicken, as they become more affluent. Third, causes from COVID-19 pandemic as well as the Russia military operation in Ukraine. For information, in 2020, as well as the Russian military operation in Ukraine, the COVID-19 pandemic sent food price up. Most was driven by increase in meat, fish, poultry and eggs. Lastly, early lockdown measure and supply chain disruption induced spike in consumer food price. At the start of pandemic, food supply chain disruption, a shift from food services toward retail, grocery and consumer, stockpiling push up consumer food price indices in many countries, with consumer food inflation peaking in April 2020, even though producer price of primary food commodities was disrupted. I will talk about the possibility factors cause of exceptional supply in primary article. First, causes from weather, which is climatic condition, was very important. For example, it will help the growth of paddy and the supply of the paddy will increase to the rice productivity. Second, price of goods for the supplier. It's due to price that set by the government's open space for supplier to increase or decrease the supply. Third, use for industrial revolution technology. The increase in supply can be measured based on the functionality of machine technology in terms of supply production. And the last, the government should underline inadequate food production. As a result, the issue of food waste must also be addressed.
So, from all the explanation just now, we have got the conclusion of advantages and also disadvantages of exceptional supplies and exceptional demand. So the advantages are, since price and quantity supplied have a positive relationship, when the product price rise, so will the amount supplied will rise also. Next, due to increased earnings and current strength from the creation and inflow of large amount of money, economic growth has the special benefit of increasing demand. It can also progress the nation economy more quickly, and the nation will move towards greater development. And because of that, surplus of goods and services, our country does no need to import commodities from others country. And last one, the advantages are, our country will able to sell its product and services to other countries and changing its currency and standing abroad. Ding. And then for the disadvantages of exceptional demand and exceptional supplies, the price of the item itself is the factor that affects the change in amount supplied. It will also raise the price of products and services while making them more scarce. And also, customers struggle because there aren't many items and services available. Since there is an abundance of goods and services available, all consumers will be able to purchase them and the price of goods and services will be low since they are simple to obtain. And then, cause waste to the country economic development. And last one is, the development of nation economy can be impacted by the production of remarkable items. So sad lah. I don't know lah.